Hi there everyone, it's Misty here. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's video, I have the opposite of if I could only keep 10 eyeshadow palettes. These are the 10 that I would let go of if I had to get rid of them. If I had to declutter, these would be the 10. And I've kind of put a spin on it. In that video, I only talked about 4 different companies, brands. In this video, I'm only decluttering from those same brands and the same number of palettes that I talked about in the other video. So hopefully that makes sense. I think it'll make sense as we move along. But before we get into that, I had talked about in that video that I thought this is my It's a Mood palette from ColourPop, and it smells like death. I don't know how else to describe it. Angelica Nyquist said the same thing. And she said it about the glue. When the glue goes bad, it smells like death. And I'm like, I think that's what the issue is. Because, oh my God, it's so bad. And you can smell it through the back. Ugh. If it was just the shadows, I don't think you would be able to smell it through the back of the cardboard. So ColourPop's, the ColourPop packaging is magnetic, but that magnet has to be glued down, and I think that's what it is. I had the same issue with that red palette. I don't remember what it was called. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to depot these, at least most of them that are like clear, like close to where the smell is. Let them sit overnight, and if they don't have a smell, then I'm going to depot the whole thing, label them, and put them in an empty palette. If they do still have the smell, I may just bite the bullet and buy a new one. ColourPop just came out with, they're having a 30% off sale as I'm filming this on May 26th. So we'll just have to see. I honestly think it's the glue. I really do think it's the glue. Because I've had other, like I have the Sweet Talk palette that I've had for years and years. I've never had any issues with. Flutterby. Is it Flutterby? Bird of Paradise. I've had all those palettes longer than this one, and I've never had any issues with them. And this one and that black and red one were the only two I've ever had that issue with, and I really do think it's the glue. So I will report back at some point in my life. Maybe I'll put it in a pinned comment. Maybe I'll add like breaking news at the end. But yeah, so that's the update on that one. I still love the color story, and I still hopefully will love the formula, and we'll just cross our fingers that it's definitely glue, and we'll move on with our life. Okay, so in this video, or in that other video, I talked about Huda Beauty, is that it? ColourPop, BH, and Glamlight. So I said 2 ColourPops, I had 2 ColourPops, 1 Huda, 4 BH, and 3 Glamlight. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And the first one is from Huda, and that's, I'm going to bring, like, if I had to declutter, it would be this one. This is the Amethyst Obsessions. I just am not, you guys know I love purple. Purple is one of my favorite colors. I attempted 30 days of purple. I think I got to day 26 or something. I didn't use this palette at all. I'm just not drawn to it. And I don't understand why, because it's beautiful, it's purple. I think it's because most of the shimmers are kind of lackluster. I mean, I don't know. It's just something about it that I just don't like, I don't love, and I don't want to reach for it. I'm not actually decluttering it. In fact, I almost brought that in for level 5 for my level up. But I'm not decluttering it, but if I had to, like if I had to make the choice, that one would be the one to go. I only have 5 Huda palettes. I have the Mercury Retrograde, the Naughty Nudes, the Rose Quartz, and then the 9 pan of the dark nudes that she did, and then this one. So this would be the one out of those to go. For ColourPop, 2. I showed the Silver Fox. What's it called? Stone Cold Fox. Word. So the 2, I would actually declutter 3, but since I'm like, these are my parameters, this is what I'm going to show you. I would declutter 2, and we're going with these. So this is Going Coconuts, and that's taupe. These are their Cool Tone Neutral palettes that they released before they released that Stone Cold Fox. And these are basically repeat shades. We know ColourPop does that. I mean, this new one with the green, the pop of green, they're all repeated shades. We know that. You can't, like every shade has been made at ColourPop. So these are now kind of repeats of what's already in my collection. So as of right now, I'm not going to declutter them, but that doesn't mean that won't happen in the future. You guys know I really like to donate to Project Beauty Share. And to me, these two palettes would be perfect for someone who needs or wants to wear makeup or look presentable to go to a job interview, or maybe, you know, they have a new job and they want, you know, a little bit of makeup. I think this would be beautiful. If you're unfamiliar with Project Beauty Share, they are a charity out of Spokane, Washington, I believe, and they accept gently used makeup, new makeup, like hair hygiene products, etc. And then they sanitize it and they send it to not only their local shelters, but they have shelters that they work with across the world. Across the US, a lot of shelters just don't have the ability to sanitize stuff, so they'll only take new items. And that's what I love about Project Beauty Share. I can send it, I do a flat rate box, probably once a quarter-ish, and I send it off to them. They can sanitize it, etc. I always include like maxi pads or toothbrushes, toothpaste, stuff I get from the dentist, those kinds of things. So it's a really great charity, and I try to donate to them as much as I can. Like if it's something that I paid a whole lot of money for, I may try to sell it. But if it's something like these, I don't mind giving them away. And again, I now have the colors at least twice. So these would be the two from ColourPop. From Glamlight, I had the Ice Cream Dream, the cake, and then the wine, the purple one. So in the three that I would replace, one of them would be this one. This is the Chocolate Martini. And I actually have this shade right here in my A to Z. I haven't touched it. I bought the bundle. I think the bundle was cheaper. The only colors that interest me in this palette are 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's really it. It's too gold and it's too brown. So it's beautiful. I mean, it's really beautiful. Maybe I could get away with a couple of these cool tone browns, but yeah, it's not my favorite. And if I had to declutter, this would be the one. The other two I do not have pictures of, and I don't have the palettes because I depotted them. One of them would be the burger palette, and the other one would be, I think it's the street taco. It may just be the regular taco, whatever the big taco palette was. I've depotted those. They're in my singles. Glamlight has a tendency to repeat their shades. And they even repeat names of their shades. I think I have 3 or 4 jalapenos from the ones I depotted. I depotted all of the big food ones. So I would depot those two, or get rid of those two, declutter those two for sure. And I actually sent, I sent Jessica the pizza palette. That one too. It's just too big, it's too bulky, and I didn't love the shades in either of those palettes, and a lot of them, again, were browns or neutrals or gold. So those would be it for Glamlight. Okay, last but not least, we've got BH Cosmetics. And again, I am not decluttering these. These would be the ones. So let's start with the first one. It would be this. This is the Let That Shit Go palette. This is actually brand new. I haven't used this at all, but I bought this because I have the those greens in my 50 Shades of Green, and I thought these mattes would work really well with it. I have green mattes, but most of them are dark, and then I have the avocado palette, so some of these may repeat, but anyway, this would be one to go. It may still go. I don't know. I haven't decided, but yeah. This one is on the block. I haven't decided yet, but the rest of them are definitely not going anywhere. The next one is this. This is the Galaxy Chic, and this is one of their baked eyeshadow palettes. Hear me now. Listen to my words. These are gorgeous. These baked eyeshadows from BH are just so flippin' good. I would recommend this palette 100 times over. They are so, oh, this moonshade would have went really pretty with my one today. These are probably the worst swatches I've ever done in my life, but these are just so beautiful. So I would keep the Aurora Lights because the Aurora Lights has a bit more color, and this one has a bit more neutrals. And it's pretty blue heavy, and to me, these three right here are really kind of close together. So this would be the one I would declutter. I'm not, but this would be the one. I thought that I had turned off my ring finger, I apologize. That's Jessica talking about me go. Okay, next would be this one. This is their bubblegum palette. Out of the 4 sweet shops that I have, this would be the one I would get rid of. This is beautiful. Again, I've used the navy. The navy is absolutely gorgeous. The whole palette is gorgeous. But if I'm going to reach for blues, I picked the blueberry muffin. I feel like I have all of these kind of blues in that. Minus maybe this one and possibly this really deep one. But if I were going to declutter, it would be this one hands down. Last but not least is going to be a super duper ultra mega surprise. Probably to everyone. The Lost in Los Angeles palette. So in that video, I mentioned that if this didn't have so many neutrals, if it had more color, this would be a perfect pastel palette. I panned this one. This was in level 3. I hit 3 pans. So I have pan in Rush Hour, Abbott Kinney, and 90210. It took me forever to use these two, like these 3 shades, this one even. I love the formula and I love all of the colors, but out of 16, there are 4 that I would really wish were something different. And for me, the Glamlight Ice Cream palette gives you so many shades. I mean, it's a huge flipping palette, I get that. But you get so much variety. So you have all your color shades with a shimmer and then with a matching matte. And then you have those neutrals as well. So that one to me is, if it didn't have the neutrals, I would love it even more. But if we're just talking about what's currently in my collection, that is a palette, it would be, I would keep that one over this one any day. So that's it. Hopefully that makes sense. Like I said, I talked about Huda, ColourPop, BH, and Glamlight in that video. I still hold true to all of the ones that I would pick. I don't even want to try to attempt to do this with like indie, etc. Like for real indie stuff. I just couldn't because I don't have very many palettes and I have a whole lot of singles. Because I think Sydney Grace is probably, no, Give Me Glow. Sydney Grace and Give Me Glow are the only 2 indie companies that I own that I actually have mattes from. I consider like Glamlight, Huda, even though they're still kind of considered indie because they're not owned by a huge company, to me they're more mainstream. So I guess I should say mainstream over indie. But I think I left a comment on Ruth's declutter video that I've gotten to where I am in my makeup journey, especially with eyeshadow. I would much rather pick up an indie palette or pick up indie singles than to purchase anything mainstream, for real. Like I said, I really feel like Glamlight is just, they've repeated themselves over and over and over. I mean, they had the Icy palette, then they had that blue Hershey's palette, and then they had the blue Frosted Flakes palette. So it's just too much for me. And that's fine. I cannot buy from them and that's cool. But again, it's just, oh, it's the same thing with ColourPop. Jesus, Mary and Josephina. That cowboy collection was embarrassing. I had secondhand embarrassment for them. It's like, how the hell do you think just putting in 5 little pinks with the rest of them neutrals is anything innovative or exciting? And then you don't even remember it because 2 days later there's another one. So I honestly think, Jessica and I were talking about this because she's like, are you going to pick up anything with the ColourPop sale? And I was like, no, there's nothing that they have that I would want. If you saw my bingo, I don't know which one is going to go up first. I had a Super Shock that molded on me. That's the first one I've had do that when I've used Duraline. They're always dry. With ColourPop, there's like a good formula and there's a not a good formula, and it's a 50-50 chance that you're going to get either one. I mean, the first palette that has interested me in a very, like, since the It's a Mood palette is that Star Wars palette, and that is a neutral palette. But I love the darkness of it. Like, I love the darkness of it, but I just won't. And it irritates the hell out of me when people bitch and moan about Chic Glam, but then ColourPop does the same damn thing. And yes, they can do it in-house, but they're still creating waste there's still, like, it's just too much. So I'm done with ColourPop unless they just come out with something that I literally cannot, like, I will die if I don't have it. And yeah, in the same way with Glam Lights, like I need a different color story. Give me something new. Give me something different. Don't give me 3 palettes in a row with the same damn color story. But I enjoy the Glam Light formula. So, and I would get the Glam Light over ColourPop for sure. If we're talking about formula, if BH was still in business and doing these travel palettes, BH would be number 1 on my list. And then Huda, I think, would probably be number 2 because I really love, like, the Rose Quartz palette is so flippin' good. It's so good. And then ColourPop and, like, Glam Light and then ColourPop. So ColourPop would really be at the bottom of my list if I was going to buy from these brands. You can't buy from BH anymore, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that's a lot of rambling. That was very rambly, but that's it. So those are the 10 that I would declutter if I had to. Like I said, I don't have any plans to right now. I may end up decluttering the That's Taupe and the Going Coconuts. We shall see. And like I said, I will report back on the It's a Mood palette. Again, I really think it's just the glue. I think it's the packaging. I think it's the glue behind the magnet because I don't think you would be able to smell it on the backside if it wasn't the glue. That's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't already, I hope you'll consider subscribing here and follow me over on Instagram. I hope you have a good day, night, weekend, wherever you are. I love your faces, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.